So you may remember John here from previous shows. He's been here for, let's see, we did...
for the Rogan beer.
Yeah, the Rogan beer episode. He had the best Rogan beer. The best. It was the only good one, as a matter of fact, out of the three of us. I think we mentioned John when we had the El Paso County homebrew competition, because he got selected for a Pro-Am. You medaled as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, medaled.
Got a few.
Got a couple of medals. He's like, he can't even wear them around because he'll be weighed down all the time. So this is the results of the Pro-Am. So this is, you want to talk about your beer?
Yeah, so this is a pre-prohibition lager. So just maybe a little background on the beer. It's kind of a neat project. So my father-in-law did some genealogy and found that I have some brewing ancestors going back to the 1850s in Albany, New York. So just did a little bit of research on kind of what they were brewing and what was popular at the time. And they had a export Pilsner that we found some old bottles from. So this was kind of, while I couldn't find a lot of details, this was kind of, taking that concept and looking at some ingredients that were popular at the time and, what they might use, and kind of developed a recipe on that.
Nice. Yeah. And of course, I think I said you got selected to brew it with Black Forest Brewing.
Yeah, so Black Forest.
Donovan picked you.
Exactly. Yeah, so this one in the whichever category it was, and then went to the Best in Show round and got selected for the Pro-Am, which is really cool. So we brewed it back in, I think it was about early September. Went over to the brewery on Woodman here, and yeah, he's it's been aging since. He released it just this past Sunday, so to tie into Prohibition, it was the last day of Prohibition.
Yeah, repeal day was Monday.
Unfortunately they were closed Monday, so he kind of took the next best thing. So last day of Prohibition was the release.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm so rude. I didn't introduce Tommy and... Oh my God, I just totally blanked. Emily, thank you. Sorry, it's the pressure. I didn't introduce Tommy and Emily.
So we're two folks that just took the BJCP exam this past Saturday. Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah.
We took it on Sunday, and we feel like we did pretty okay.
Excellent.
So we'll see. We'll see in about 9 months whenever our results come in. And got invited to drink some beer, so here we are.
Nice. Yeah, they also brought beer for another episode we're going to do right after this one. You'll see that later, but hopefully 9 months if you're lucky. I hope they got through that backlog. We were planning our 1 year anniversary party since taking the test, and it was just short of it,
Okay.
So here, let's have a glass.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice. So cheers.
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 So it's a beautiful beer.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I know the glass I got at the brewery, it was just bubbles just flowing off of it, and it's brilliantly clear.
Looked like a beer commercial.
It looked amazing, yeah. It's almost like champagne in the glass.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking when you poured it.
Yeah.
It's like champagne.
So I asked you this before, John, but maybe you can explain to everybody what makes this a pre-prohibition beer?
Yeah, so pre-prohibition versus newer lagers, new American lagers. I mean, typically it's going to be a little bit bigger in terms of ABV and also higher IBU. So my recipe calls for it to be about 5.5 and around 50 IBU. So this beer, though, actually with his Donovan's efficiency, it came in at 6.4. So a bit bigger beer, whereas an American lager typically probably 4 to 5 range,
like 5%, and then more balanced, so it's not very bitter.
Yeah, it's very very hop forward.
Yeah,
compared to modern
but
lagers.
It's not like we were talking about before too. It's not necessarily German Pilsner, which you think of as a hoppy lager, but because it's bigger, and B, it's got adjuncts in it too, right? So you said that you had a lot of corn in here.
Right, so the recipe calls for about 25% corn for the grist.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot the jealous reason or the selfish reason is, would you be willing to share the recipe with us?
Yeah, I can do that, yeah.
Excellent. So that's terrific.
So I mean, it's a pretty basic recipe, about 75% base grain, so I actually use 6 row in mine, and then this version uses Pilsner. And then pretty good bittering charge of cluster hops. And then a couple later editions, I do about a 20-minute and a 5-minute edition. I use Mount Hood in mine. This one uses Hallertau, just because it's kind of what he had on hand, but should give a pretty similar profile between the two.
Yeah, I would think so,
Yeah.
And I gotta say, for being 6.4%, I wouldn't think it. I mean, it's light enough where I'd throw them back and not even think about it.
Yeah, I think he really nailed the dryness of it, which I like. It just makes it, I think it really helps the drinkability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I know, so Donovan at Black Forest has selected a number of beers from people in the club and competitions to do Pro-Ams with. How was brewing at the new brewery? Because this was the Falcon location, right?
Yeah, it was the first time I've been there, and I just had only been to the Black Forest location before, and I mean, pretty tight space there. So I think it's nice that he's got some bigger equipment, a little bit more room in there. But yeah, it was pretty neat. First time ever really being in on a brew day on a commercial system like that. Honestly, one of my biggest takeaways is that it wasn't really that much different than homebrewer, just much bigger scale.
Yeah.
But in terms of process, and I mean, his equipment too is, very similar, just on a much bigger scale. So.
But you're able to actually get in there and brew with him.
Yep, actually got in there and brewed. Kind of came in, so he started the mash pretty early, and I mean the mash, there's not really a whole lot going on there. So came in right during when he started doing the lauter and transfer over to the boil, and kind of hung out with him there. Helped, did the hop additions and just kind of helped him, give him an extra set of hands for the brew day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because I know at the Black Forest location, it's a really small brewery, and they can't fit more than one person in there. So, if you get selected for a Pro-Am, you can kind of sit outside while someone else brews it. Yeah. Which, I mean, it's a small brewery. What you going to do?
Oh, yeah, no, it's,
Yeah, so
make it a spectator sport.
exactly.
Walkie-talkies.
Well, it could be a lot worse. Like, all right, get in there. I don't know what I'm doing. It's like,
come on, I'm all done. Clean up.
Exactly.
Brain's going there. Oh. So that's funny.
But yeah, it's cool. So just helped out, and then we tasted some beers and just kind of talked beer a little bit, talked about his business, and yeah, it was a really good time. Donovan's a great guy, big supporter of homebrewers, so really cool to
absolutely
to be a part of this.
Very approachable.
Yeah, for sure.
Was there any back and forth on the recipe, or did he just have you submit an assignment?
Yeah, there's a little bit of back and forth. So I sent him the file of mine. So he scaled it up, and then what we talked about, some of the changes. So like using the Pilsner instead of the 6 row. He switched out the hops. Actually, in mine I use a Mexican lager yeast, but he ended up using the 3470. Like the very traditional standard lager yeast for his, but so not some minor changes, but everything's pretty much interchangeable there. So, but yeah, a little bit of back and forth, but just kind of based on whatever. Some of it was his preference, others was just what he had on hand, and without having to go out and get special ingredients.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That sounds like it was a lot of fun.
it was a great time.
Was there any major taste changes from the one that you brewed versus this one?
I think the biggest thing is being a bigger beer. But I think actually with it being bigger and a little bit sweeter, it definitely it balances the hops really nice and the bitterness there. So
it does. You can taste the hops, but it's not overwhelming. It's really, and it finishes dry. It's
it's
really
for sure.
good.
Yeah, very nice.
Thank you.
So let's see, when was that competition? That was
June.
Yeah.
July.
So I can't imagine you have any years left. That's probably long gone now.
There might be one in the back of the fridge, possibly.
That's what I was thinking. As we're talking about it, I was like, that'd been kind of cool if you still had some.
Yeah, I should have looked. Yeah.
But
I think I was on the back end of that keg anyways when I bottled them, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When this guy had been, I'd be like, I drank that a long time ago.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what's funny is that I had a crowler of it, and I totally blanked it and left it at home, so I had to run out. Luckily, they're right down the road, so I grabbed another crowler.
Mike forgot it.
Yeah, I forgot it, so now there's a whole crowler at home I'm going to have to drink on my own.
Darn it.
Shame.
So, and certainly, if you're in the area, if you're near any of the Black Forest, or if you're passing through Colorado Springs, I suggest swinging in and grabbing it. It's an easy speaking lager, and I assume it's be on tap for a little while. Did they do a full batch?
3-barrel batch.
3-barrel?
barrels,
Okay.
yeah. I'll be around for a bit.
You should think. I would hope so.
Although, well, I don't know. Jerry brewed his habanero,
Raspberry.
And I was like, oh, I should go get some. And by the time I actually got around to it, it was gone.
Yeah.
I think I missed it by like a day. And I'm like, oh, we just kicked that keg. Oh, so yeah, don't dawdle.
Yeah, no
Learn
kidding.
my lesson the hard way.
So we got anything else? Anything else you want to mention, John?
Just thanks Donovan for the opportunity. Thank you for running the competition.
Oh, no problem.
So there was a little bit of, there was a little time there we didn't think the competition would even happen. So luckily Mike stepped up and coordinated.
Yeah, and it was a good comp. I mean, we had a good number of entries.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I missed the ceremony, but great prizes, and it's really fun to get up there and walk around after with your ribbons.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know. I've never done that.
Especially fun when you're a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, terrific. Yeah. Well, till next time, and thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
till next time,
you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bing.
Thanks for watching our video. Check out our website at coloradobrewtalk.com for more great content.
While you're there, be sure to leave us a comment or drop us a line with your thoughts.
You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at CO Brew Talk, or follow the links below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future content.
Or episodes. As the case may be.